Even if most Kenyans are not already aware of it, the survival of the Ruto presidency, the Ruto regime, will rely very heavily on one particular community in our beautiful motherland. And I'm sure currently you're making all the wrong guesses. That community is the Mulembe nation, the Luhyas, for a very simple reason: numbers. There are those who believe that the Luhya voters in the country called Kenya are by far the vast majority. Yeah, I'm included in that list of people who believe that. And this is why every single general election we end up with a lot of drama, political drama, in Western, the Mulembe nation. Because so far, no single politician has managed to get the community to vote together as a bloc. That is, since the passing on of the only leader who has managed to unite the Mulembe nation so that they spoke with one voice, so that they voted as one bloc, a man called Henry Pius Masinde Muliro. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the greatest sons of Kenya who still remains unsung, a great hero of our country. And I'm sure you can guess why. Masinde Muliro's name has always been absent, very sadly so, when people remember great Kenyans who have successfully fought throughout their lives for a better Kenya. And of course, that reason, Masinde Muliro was very well known and recognized for his integrity, the character of a man. Now, very unfortunately, the way things go in our dear motherland is that if you're a person of integrity, mambo yako sio mzuri. Efforts will be made to make sure that your legacy is soiled as much as possible. Your legacy is watered down as much as possible, and that you're forgotten as quickly as possible. And I have a personal experience to prove that. After my political lecturer passed on, we went to the police headquarters as a family, to get somebody to represent his former employers at the funeral. And we were shocked. Very strange police records were produced detailing his career in the force. To cut a long story short, somebody had done a very good job of watering down his achievements in the police force. And indeed, this fake record of his is what was read at the funeral. Indeed, looking back, I can even laugh today, thinking about my ambitious kid brother's idea that the police organize a 21-gun salute. That was really wishful thinking. Folks, if today you decide as a Kenyan to follow on the route of integrity, please bear in mind that your accurate record will only be recorded in heaven, where it cannot be faked or interfered with, and where it will always remain authentic. That is the sad fact about our country called Kenya. Anyway, I believe this is the main reason why Kenyans to this day have never really recognized and appreciated the efforts in Kenyan politics and in fighting for a better Kenya contributed by this great son of Kenya, a member of the Mulembe nation, Masinde Muliro. The superstitious may say that it is a curse that the Luhya nation will never be united under one leader until they recognize Masinde Muliro, until the country called Kenya recognizes and acknowledges the contributions of Masinde Muliro. Now if you stay with me a little longer, I will tell you why Masinde Muliro had to be assassinated. Yeah, it was an assassination, and precisely how it was done. For the first time, and right here on this channel, you will hear the untold story of Masinde Muliro's last hours. So stay with me. The Ruto administration at this point in time has no option but to place all their eggs, or at least most of the eggs, when it comes to survival, in the basket of the Mulembe nation. And this is for a very simple reason. It is their best bet. And I agree. Although this will be a very uphill task, because the Luhya nation has always been very, very elusive. Now, a man called Francis Atwoli had some very much hyped meetings at the Buhungu Stadium in the run-up to the 2022 presidential elections. And he made very spirited efforts to unite the community as one voting bloc for the benefit of the community. But it never worked. I believe the leader they chose for the community was Musalia Mudavadi. Now already there's a problem. Because within the Luhya nation, the Maragoli, from where Musalia Mudavadi hails from, and the Bukusu, from where the late Masinde Muliro hailed from, don't exactly see eye to eye. They are rivals. And you need to understand that the population of the Bukusu is the highest amongst the community. I mean, if you leave out the Maragoli, all the other Luhya communities put together cannot match the numbers of the Bukusu community. And the Bukusu have no respect for Musalia. After a leader like Masinde Muliro, you will understand, getting somebody else to fit into those shoes, because in today's Kenya, is very, very problematic. And therefore, any politician who wants to conquer the Luhya community must do what the colonialists did with us: divide and conquer. Otherwise, in my opinion, getting the Luhya united is ndoto ya mchana. For those who don't understand my native Kiswahili language, it is a pipe dream. And if somebody in the Ruto administration thought that by having Musalia Mudavadi as the prime cabinet secretary, it would help in getting votes from the Mulembe nation, then I believe you now understand that too is ndoto ya mchana. But of course, this will not stop the Ruto administration from trying, and trying very hard. Although I must quickly add, we have one politician in Kenya who holds the key to getting a unified Luhya vote. And of course, the name of that politician is Raila Odinga. It is super fascinating that in 2013, when the Ruto handlers decided to use Musalia as a spoiler to deny Raila Odinga votes amongst the Mulembe nation, it backfired big time. Indeed, it was so embarrassing because Raila Odinga defeated Musalia Mudavadi in the presidential race, even in his own backyard. The simple explanation for that is that Kenyans are known not to vote for somebody who they do not believe or think has a possibility of winning. Amongst Kenyans, they call that kupoteza kura yako, wasting your vote. Okay? You know, in the same 2013 presidential elections, I voted for Martha Karua out of principle. I believe that she was the best suited candidate to carry the country into the new 2010 constitution. And I firmly believed that she was the only candidate capable of ensuring that the constitution was fully implemented. I was still a political analyst then, and I knew the numbers. I knew there was no chance of her winning. But I still cast my vote out of principle. And I believe more Kenyans in future should do this, so that after the voting, your conscience will be clean. I believe after this information that I've given you, going forward, you will understand very well and you will see through people, even as more and more drama unfolds in the Mulembe nation, political drama. Now, very quickly, Masinde Muliro's political ideology was formed at the university he went to, the University of Cape Town, South Africa, which he attended in 1949 and graduated with a degree in history and philosophy. Incidentally, Bwana Muliro was amongst the first 8 elected African members to the LegCo, the Legislative Council, in 1957, in those very memorable elections. Of course, the others were Bernard Mate for Central, James Muimi for Eastern, Tom Mboya for Nairobi, Ronald Gala for Coast, Moi for Rift Valley, Oginga Odinga for Nyanza Central, and Lawrence Oguda for Nyanza South. Now, we all know that Tom Mboya made a very spirited effort to keep these African leaders together and united, so that they spoke in one voice, which was critical, in enabling Kenya to gain her independence much earlier than anybody had imagined. However, most Kenyans may not recognize the fact that the main glue that kept the LegCo together was this man called Masinde Muliro. And decades later, during the second liberation, it was Masinde Muliro who was amongst the founding members of FORD, Forum for Restoration of Democracy. This political party, juggernaut of a political party, started out as a pressure group, which was formed by founding members Ken Matiba, Charles Rubia, Martin Shikuku, Philip Gashoka, Oginga Odinga, and of course Masinde Muliro. He was one of the founding members. And once again, he is the glue who kept together all those political giants in Ford. Of course, later on Ford split. And there are many political analysts who believe, had Ford stuck together as a political party, going into the 1992 presidential elections, they would have removed Moi in 1992. And I'm in that school of thought. I think it was pretty obvious. So obvious that those who wanted to keep Moi in power decided to remove the glue that was keeping Ford together, which of course was Masinde Muliro. And on 14th August 1992, when Muliro was jetting back into the country from a fundraising mission, he was raising funds for Ford, the Ford campaign, for the general elections later that year. And moments after he had stepped out of his British Airways flight, he suddenly collapsed and died. And of course, many Kenyans could not get it out of their minds that also on the same British Airways flight was a man called Nicholas Kipyator Biwott. Now, what really happened? There's been suspicions for many years, but today I can reveal. What really happened is that somebody interfered with the pacemaker that Masinde Muliro was wearing. He had heart problems, and therefore a surgeon had placed a pacemaker to control his heartbeat. And most Kenyans know which country Biwott's security detail hailed from. And in that country, the experts in this kind of operation, kumaliza watu haraka haraka, by remote control, the experts in that. Bottom line, huyu alimalizwa vile Magufuli alimalizwa. And very predictably, very shortly after that, the mighty Ford, which was giving Moi nightmares even during the day, split into two. Into Ford Asili, led by Ken Matiba, and Ford Kenya, led by the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And President Moi succeeded in dividing and conquering, and he won those 1992 presidential elections. Although some of us believe he still didn't. We believe it was Matiba who won it. Anyway, that's the way it went. It is super fascinating to note that Masinde Muliro was in the first cabinet of Jomo Kenyatta. But of course he didn't see eye to eye with Jomo Kenyatta. He was always on the wrong side of the president. I think we all know why, based on what I've just told you. Integrity. But when Moi came into power, Masinde Muliro decided to get back into elective politics. And in 1979 he vied for the Kitale East seat. And Moi handlers organized for a man called Fred Gumu to rig him out. So even Moi was terrified of this man as early as 1979, let alone in 1992, when it was very clear he was going to be removed from power. Now the good news is that we are in the season of judgment. And the blood of Masinde Muliro is crying out from the ground for justice. Now very quickly before I go, a quick reminder of my very latest amazing offer to help all of us get through what we're already in. Harsh economic times, very harsh economic times, where we all have to adjust. But we can all turn this into an opportunity if we understand how the cards on the table have been switched. Things have changed. So if you change with the change, there is opportunity, so that you can come out of this much better than those who are not able to adjust, than those who are not able to realize what is going on. And my set of videos is perfect to enable you to do that. You can see the special offer on your screen right now. I've also thrown in a full year subscription to my weekly intelligence briefings. So it's a double offer. For only $14.95 or Kenya shillings 1,495, you can get the whole package. And how to prosper in a gloomy economy, is the video, sets of videos, over 1 hour long, explained in simple language, plus 3 books. You can see them on your screens right now. Actual ideas and step-by-step instructions on what to do, and then how to market without selling, without advertising, and then also side hustle ideas. You can keep your job and still get a side hustle. Amazing package. Okay, if you've not already taken advantage of it, I suggest that you hurry, because this offer is not going to last for long. Just another day or two and it'll be gone. So please take full advantage of it. Continue resting in peace, great son of Kenya, Henry Pius Masinde Muliro. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.